Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 Report. I am your host, Sanji Himura. Thank you for watching. Today, we're going to involve the web a little bit with some NFT talk again. So, first off, let us go into the ground rules, read by Lord Cracker Squirrel.
Rule number 1, don't be a dick. Rule number 2, if in doubt, please refer to rule number 1.
Okay, now, welcome everybody to the live stream, and today we are going to talk NFTs. But first, today's meme. It sure does bring a new meaning to the term fire sale, no? I can't take in the entire credit for that. Credit goes to Coinier's taking L's from Twitter on today's meme. So, with that said, how you been doing today, Squirrel? Besides the fact that I owe you a writing credit.
It's hot, it's miserable, and it is sticky around here. Because, they talk about a dry heat. This is not it.
No. You do not want to come to Texas anyway.
We're headed for 30 degrees today, so it's only going to get worse.
Right. So.
Oh, and there's a fire running around somewhere nearby.
Oh, good God.
Hooray.
Today we are here to talk about one Nathaniel and his attempt.
Nathan yes. This. All right. Yeah. We got the dime bag.
So because
I can't in the first minute or in the first 4 minutes I can't give him the moniker I want to give him.
Which is
give us a few minutes and we'll break that out.
Yes. Today we are talking about his attempt to evolve the NFT by putting video games in them.
Yes, you buy the NFT and you get permanent access to the games in question. Problem, of course, is he done fucked up.
Yes. Yes, he did. Let us start by...
He fucked all of the up.
Let us start by evolving this article from Ars Technica, because indie devs naturally got outraged by the unlicensed game sales on the GameStop's NFT market. How do we know it's evolved GameStop?
Sigh, and that's because GameStop is vetting the people, not the objects they're trying to sell. Do you actually own that thing? Sure. All the things. This was all related to the pub. This is all released to the public to public domain. Source code and all. No, it wasn't. Just the code.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, Mr. Ello released 3 NFTs on GameStop's NFT market.
And you don't get to do that no more.
And you don't get to do that no more. Just like the guy with the falling man.
Sigh. Too bad, really.
Yeah.
But the falling man was pareidolia mostly, I think.
Right.
At least that seems to be what the guy was. The guy wasn't thinking of that particular image when he put together his little NFT.
Right. But you know what Mr. Ello actually did?
He stole the games and then did more of it.
Yes.
After GameStop flopped him in the nose.
Yes,
and at this point, there's no way. It would appear that there is no way to prevent anybody from playing the games that were illicitly sold on the GameStop list.
Okay.
Every NFT that's been minted, that's a permanent. That's going to be a permanent thing, or at least a mostly permanent thing. Mm-hmm. And the guy got away with what? Several $1,000s.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
He got away with at least $10K before anybody blinked twice and blinked long enough to notice.
Oh yeah. And then after he got booted from GameStop's NFT marketplace, he continued to sell them on his own personal website. And not only did he continue to sell these NFTs, he expanded on his collection. And we're going to go through them one at a stinking time. Let's start at the bottom right with Brick Breaker. And this is where the spreadsheet that we linked to you in the description of the video of the live stream will really come in handy, because I've actually went down and broken down each of the 25 games that he is allegedly selling, and most, if not all of them, came from independent developers.
Which weren't Dude.
Yes. Let's start with Brick Breaker.
Brick Breaker is a breakout clone from that's kind of a bit more spaced out than the one that was done for the Atari 2600. This was actually originally an arcade game in the late 70s, if memory serves.
Right, 1976.
Yep, the late 70s. Within my lifetime, but not yours.
Right.
But Breakout was horrifyingly popular for quite a long time. It's actually dead simple to do. You put up a bunch of bricks, you put a paddle at the bottom or on the side or whatever, and you bounce that ball back and forth. If the ball goes off the playing field, you'll lose a life, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
If you clear all the bricks out of a level, you get the next level. Oh no, it's cheap and easy. Atari, I think I think Atari still owned the original copyright, but it's going to be, well, we got a little over 30 years. We got, what is it, about 25 years or so before that copyright expires.
Yes, and it falls into public domain.
Now, if you make a game, and here's the thing, if you make a game that looks like another game, it plays like another game, then maybe you don't get hammered. Usually not, unless you're doing something really retarded. If you want a game similar to that, you can. Zaxter99 made a thing called Prison Ball, wherein you could do this, wherein you could even do this with 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a good game? It depends on your take. But he did the work himself. So yeah. Not only that, he did it on live streams, which is even weirder. Right. We don't actually have a problem with that. But you're gonna look, but that's what if he's actually making a clone, then copyright may not apply. Trademark might, but
right.
that also requires a clean registration. So it really depends. You could do a look and feel copyright. But as Apple learned, much to its chagrin, there are ways around that. Hello, Microsoft Windows 1.0. And then they managed to win before the release of Microsoft Windows 3. All right, what else we got? What's next? Ski Free?
Ski Free!
Yep, this was a packet. Anybody that remembers the old Windows 3.1 days will remember Ski Free. And it hasn't actually changed. Not the graphic, as far as I can tell. Not the graphics, not anything else. This was just this was one of those quote unquote endless runner type things. You start at the top of the ski slope, and when you get to the bottom, you don't bother to stop because it keeps going.
Right.
It was the original, and really all you had to do was get as far as you could. Amongst all of the by avoiding all of the hazards. This version of Ski Free, I actually got a chance to view video on it, and it plays exactly like it looks, plays, and feels exactly like the original. Microsoft can go after them for this.
Right.
Will they? Probably not. Might they? Yes, they might. Maybe, if they feel like it. And let's see what else we got. Stunky Bird. I think that one's next.
That one's next.
This is Flappy Bird. Just period. It's Flappy Bird. This is Flappy Bird. It plays exactly the same way. And yes, I found someone that actually has a video of it. I forget his name or where his channel might be. Somewhere on YouTube. but he spent the money to do all of this. It is fucking Flappy Bird.
Right.
Right down to the graphics. So Dong Nguyen, if you're listening, you might want to go. You might want to go find this fucker. I don't know who actually did his. I don't know who actually did the coding for this particular critter, or if he found the source code and graphics and then did it that way.
Right.
Either way, you might want to look into that. The daytime version of Nifty Bird. Supposedly Nifty Bird. Nifty Bird is actually listed above.
Right. Next item up for bids, we have Space Invaders.
Did he actually call it Space Invaders?
Yes, he did.
Oh, Jesus, child of Christ. Don't do that. Taito will hurt you. Taito will hurt you. They hate that. I forget who owns Taito now, but they will hurt you if they find you.
Yes, because the news spreads east
and then goes up.
To quote one colorful Jim Sterling at the time.
Yeah, no, I've had a few bits of coverage do exactly that. And the response was generally to say, "Fuck that guy."
and we got
Right. This is a game that I'm actually not familiar with from 2013. It's probably just not old enough.
Right. All right, next item up for bids. We have Radius Raid.
I don't actually know this game. But then again, it's less than 10 years old, so I might not. So that's actually something I may not have heard of. Kind of a thing.
And it was made as part of a competition by the name of JavaScript 13 kilobits.
Kilobyte competition, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's cell phones. It's old-timey cell phones. If you can grasp the concept of game sizes at the time. Now with game sizes being up in the gigabytes, who knows what happens?
Or tens. Actually, we're starting to see upwards of 100 gigabytes in modern games, which disturbs me greatly. Because at some point we're gonna, you're talking about 10 games for a terabyte, less than 10 games for a terabyte, and that means that you're going to be doing a lot of installing and uninstalling. I hope you've got really fast internet.
Right.
I don't.
And I'm willing to bet Mr. Rugal is not going to be happy when he sees not one but two of his games stolen. We'll talk about the other one a bit later.
We'll talk about the other one in a bit. But it's actually up from here.
Next game up on the list is Bounce Back.
A Zelda clone, because Zelda clones are a thing. Again, Nofrendo doesn't actually corner the market on quote-unquote action RPGs. Never mind that they built that particular genre and then popularized it with the Zelda series.
Right.
But still, this is our boy Frank Force over here is probably not. I wouldn't think he'd be terribly thrilled.
No. Next game, Snake versus Snake.
Snake versus Snake. Snake/Blockade. You're also going to get the inevitable light cycle game comparison, which will be a thing. The first time this game was published was as a game called Surround for the Atari 2600 back in the late 70s. I think Surround was done. I forget exactly. 76, somewhere between 76 and 78 was when it was actually released to the A2600. But there was an arcade game prior to that.
Right.
which may or may not have been known as Snake. So the first time I saw it was as Surround, but it didn't actually have that didn't wind up having a 2-player mode.
Next game, Last Life.
Galaga. How we love thee. I actually have 3 or 4 different versions of Galaga, no less, across a couple of different consoles. The Namco absolutely loved that game. They were not as happy with Galaxy, and it was pretty much just we're going to throw trash at your ship, and just hope that and your purpose is to survive. Galaga was the follow-up to Galaxian. At least in theory, they actually split at one point, and you had to, and you had much deeper gameplay.
Right.
Per Larry Bundy or per DJ Slopes, it's Slopes Game Room. They actually has a complete history for that. So go watch that after we're done here. Galaxian / Galaga. Galaga was a horrifyingly fun game, and I've seen lots of clones of it. Including a recently updated version that Bandai Namco put out. I think I've got that on the PlayStation 4. Is it PlayStation 4 or Steam? I forget. One or the other of those. The new version is not much like the old version. You really have to kind of try it. They turned it into weak points, at least for the most part. But it is actually possible to finish a run if you know what the hell you're doing. Just why would you do that? I mean, I get it.
And the Romine brothers also copied this game, not once but 4 separate occasions that I can remember.
Well, and then okay, you have to understand that the Romine brothers actually did something, not much of something, but something.
Right.
They started out with a baseline template, and then spent half an hour building it out from there. and then they project flipped it like 3 different times.
Right.
Krog Wars, that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the game that Mello will refuse to not give me shit on.
Why?
Because I rated it a 4 out of 10 when I played it on a live stream.
It was worth 1.5 at best. Shit was fucking buggy, all to hell. It barely ran, and in fact, it tried several times to murder my computer. The computer that my wife is using right now.
All right, next up is Egg Time Rewind.
And here we see Frank Force again. Yay! This is a much more recent creature, and apparently it's the same damn game. I don't know anything. I know very little about it. But apparently it was attributed to the JS13K and wasn't. It was for a Nokia 3310 jam.
Right.
But again, they simply reprinted the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I was Frank, I'd be thumping this guy on the nose. Come on, Frank, you can do it. Sue that motherfucker.
All right, next up is Gridlock.
Here is our other critter from Jack Rugile. He built the game called Avoid Rage for Ludum Dare. 31, right? Was it 31?
Yes, it was 31.
And we don't know exactly how the hell this actually goes on. But again, we see another developer ripped off not for the first but the second time. So there's actually 2 of them in here, 3 of them.
Right.
Don Nguyen actually got ripped off the second time.
Yeah. And we have next up is the first of 2 Minesweeper clones.
Let's see, was it Stack Sweeper, Easy, and Expert? That's just two different. That's just two different forms of the same game. If you ask me, Microsoft did it better. But originally, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was originally coded for an oscilloscope.
And those are bloody ancient.
It was cartoon style back in the 1950s, early 1960s.
Those are bloody ancient. Next one is what will really get him into the most trouble: Roaring Eraser.
Yes. No, that was another one that I found on the Magic Video, and it's Outrun. It's a version of Outrun. It's not the arcade version. I think it was the Amiga version. It looks very much like the Amiga version. Plays exactly the same way. I kind of wish they decided to rip off the arcade version. That would have been better. That would have been a better game, just period.
And it would have been more hilarious.
Okay, but again, we're talking about the middle of the 1980s. They did that. This was released in the arcades, right? And believe me, I wiped out more quarters that way. Holy shit!
Yeah,
feels bad, man.
Yeah,
but you'll have to forgive me. I was 14 and had access to a fairly large number of quarters.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
There were other games. There were other games I played the shit out of too, but Outrun was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Next up is Rogue Fleet.
Galaxy Raid is not actually a game I know. Funnily enough, it's relative. It is actually. I think it was just last year, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Okay. SOS was the same thing, and they were both put up for the JavaScript 13K.
Yeah.
And that one there is SOS. It was done by. It was actually it. It was just apparently just copied wholesale. Antics Development. I've already told everybody else what to do. You should do that too. That's what I recommend.
Yeah.
How about Nifty Bird, which is the night version of
Flappy Bird.
Yeah, it's Flappy Bird all over again. But Stunky Bird was the day version. Nifty Bird is the nighttime version, which means they darkened the screen.
Right. Next up. Offline Paradise.
Again, not a game I'm familiar with. Mr. Burns apparently did that one in 2020.
This critter is a Sir Zesmic outfit.
Zemic, okay. Jeremy Burns is the next one for Galaxy Rider.
Right.
But he didn't even bother. Apparently our friend here, Mr. Nathan, didn't even bother to take the factory sticker off the fucking thing.
Oh, good God, no.
And the same actually seems to be true of Jeremy Burns and Galaxy Rider, which was our next most recent
abomination.
Yeah, considering just to give you guys an idea, all of these NFTs were minted between the 5th and 26th of June this year, which means this is all releases within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly 3 weeks now that I think about it.
Yeah.
21 days.
Next up is Swaps.
I don't know Flappy Box. I assume it was originally a Flappy Bird clone that involved a box rather than a bird.
Actually, you know what? We can actually play this game.
Ooh.
Let's do this.
Does that mean I actually have to watch the freaking stream?
Yeah, it's basically Flappy Bird.
Okay. Only involving a box, which I assume.
And the thing is going from top to bottom. The pipes were going from top to bottom instead of from right to left.
Flappy Bird does that too. So guess what?
Yeah. Next up is our last abomination, Crisscross.
Crisscross. A quote-unquote homage to Crossy Road, originally released in November 2014, done up by a guy called Hipster Whale. Okay, I'm down with that name. I'm not exactly living for it, but whatever. If that's what he or she wants to call themselves. Yeah, this was the last of 5 or 6 games that were minted on the 26th of June. 5.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I know just about nothing. I have a whip link though. Let's see. Oh, that one. Yeah, this is this one was a Frogger clone done in Minecraft bricks.
Yeah.
You have to cross a huge highway, a river, some train tracks, and yet more highway. Let's do that. The description over here says, this abstract JavaScript recreation attempts to answer the age-old question, why did the chicken cross the road? I have a better question. Why was the froggy anywhere near that road?
Oh yeah.
If you want a decent Frogger clone, again, go see Zaxter 99 on Steam, or Zaxter Game. I think Zaxter Games on Steam, and you can dig out was it Poggers, which replaces the frog with a bun because buns are cute. He's actually working on a Pac-Man clone starring Poggers as well.
Anyway, that was it for the NFTs.
Mind you, he is currently making all the bank on this shit. For no reason other than fuck it, why the hell not?
Yeah.
By the way, that copy of Space Invaders is in fact based on it is in fact based on the original on the Atari 2600 version of Space Invaders.
Okay.
In fact, your little turret on the ground thing, the shields are the same shape except that they're not quite as deep, and the little turret thing is identical.
Yeah. Yeah, that's copyright at least.
Well, I don't know. It depends on whether or not the original copyright holder wants to go after it.
Right.
And Taito with Space Invaders was horrifyingly popular in its day, and it took Galaga to unseat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
That thing was sucking down quarters like. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna say. I have a thing that I had something that I was going to say and then decided that was probably not a good idea because it included a reference to your mom.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could potentially be in a lot of trouble, especially considering the fact that he was minting NFTs at a rate of what, 3 to 4 a day for these 21 days.
For a week. Brick Breaker was 3 weeks in 21, and 20 of the damn things. So an average of 1 per day, but some days were busier than others.
Right.
Let's see. The 16th was there were 2 on the 16th, 2 on the 9th, uh, 2 or 3, 2, yeah, 2 on the 8th, 2 on the 7th, and 1 each for the 5th, 6th, 11th, 13th, 17th, the 22nd, 20, and 23rd of June this year.
I mean,
that is far too many releases all at the same time, and
I mean,
that to
we're
me
getting
is
to
a red
digital.
flag.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, we're getting to digital homicide levels of chicanery here.
Well, we were actually seeing we were for a while there. We were seeing 1 a month, 1 every 6 weeks from digital homicide, and not even half those games were released to Steam.
Right. They were.
Never mind that a third of those, the ones that weren't released to Steam, were all the same game with different assets. Some of which had 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions. And we don't talk about Wyatt Derp.
Oh, good God, no!
Between one game and another, all they did was change the camera angle and release it as a whole new thing for more money. That's bullshit. Because changing the camera angle is a feature, not an entire game.
Right.
I mean, you got to admire the grift, but fuck, really, people?
It's like it's like this guy and the Romines have one thing in common. They were like they were wanting to put in maximum release efforts. Actually, no, not even effort.
Maximum release profits for minimum effort.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. See, the difference between this guy and the Romines didn't bother to steal any individual games, although there are still suspicions running around that they may have stolen assets. We can't prove that, but we know we can't necessarily prove that all the way through. But at the same time, we know at least some bits of things like the slaughtering grounds were taken off of fucking Google Images. But beyond that, we can't actually prove it. We can't prove that they stole the actual assets. This guy's stealing whole games.
Yes,
or means actually do something, which makes them better than this guy. What the unholy flock is that? You pull a stunt worse than digital fucking homicide.
And that's saying a lot. If we're being honest with each other, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
If digital homicide is better than you.
At least in the ethics department, digital homicide actually had to do a thing. Even if it was just change the fucking camera angle, they had to do a thing. Okay. Before they could release a new game.
Right.
Even if we're talking about demo levels, they at least had to do a thing. This guy hasn't bothered to do that. I think probably the best we got, out of him was he grabbed source code and then recompiled it
into an NFT,
and then attached an NFT to it, and then attached it to the blockchain. This is not a valid use of the blockchain, although if we really felt like it, what we could do. He's got a good idea. His idea is very good, very basically. And Penny Arcade actually put up a comic here recently. Oh look, do you want to get this and this and this? The only thing I want to do with an NFT that I would accept an NFT for is if it actually gave me ownership of the game that it was actually attached to the game directly. That way, I actually own the fucking thing.
Right.
And that would funnily enough be the end of licensing. It really would.
Yeah, it
Because then
would.
you could actually, that would be the effective end of licensing. Because two things would happen here. Number one, only the person that bought the NFT could actually use that game, because you have to own the NFT to do that. And if you sell the NFT, then you no longer have access to that game. The next guy does, but you can make your money back out of it if you find the right buyer.
Right.
Artificial scarcity at its finest. Okay, as a core idea, this is actually not bad. The fact that he stole the games that he effectively stole the games in question doesn't actually help him in any way, shape, or form. The man's not a game developer.
No, he's not. And it's
Okay?
painful.
He's an NFT grifter.
Yeah, and it was painfully obvious from the first 3 NFTs that he put up on GameStop.
And that's because the people that owned those NFTs got all salty, and rightfully so. Why are you selling this? And why didn't you ask first? You could have cut me in for a little. You could have cut me in for like 1%, and I'd still have something.
Right.
Mind you, they put this on the Ethereum chain rather than the Bitcoin chain.
Yeah.
Because Ethereum is actually known to be stable and can be abused for this purpose. Me personally, I would absolutely love to see. I'd love to see a special blockchain just for this purpose. But that's not here nor there. The fact remains: this guy is an asshole that is stealing things from other people, and most decidedly making a profit from it.
Absolutely.
You cannot depend on a CC0 license for everything. In fact, I think I remember seeing that there was an asset license that had to be done right along with a CC0, and you couldn't select a CC0 for that.
Right.
It's just not possible. They won't let you. So
I mean, at best, if it was done under Creative Commons, it would have to be Creative Commons with express forbidden permission for commercial use.
Right, and actually, believe it or not, you don't have to add a no commercial clause or anything like that. What you could say, okay, derivatives allowed, for example. You could say any one of 100 things.
Right.
Okay, those are options for a Creative Commons license. But to toss all that shit into the public domain is difficult at best and impossible at worst.
Right, because you would have to have a copyright term, because here in the U.S., copyright automatically applies even on unregistered work.
Unless, because you actually have to have a registered copyright in order to get certain types of damages. That being said, you don't have to file. Generally speaking,
it just makes it more difficult to collect damages.
It makes it much more difficult to collect any kind of damages, and in fact, in some cases, if you don't register, you can't sue at all.
As what's his face? That zombie guy found out the hard way back in the 60s.
Well, it actually gets worse than that.
George Romero.
Richard Leibowitz has discovered that same thing, much to his dismay. It's been recommended. I think he's actually been disbarred in one place.
Yeah, he's been disbarred in the Southern District of New York,
which is his home district. That is in and of itself unfortunate. Because he was Leonard French's favorite copyright attorney for doing how not to videos.
Yeah.
This is how you don't. This is how you not do this. Don't do this thing this way because you will get your dick stepped on. All the stepping on of all the dicks, and he did in fact get his dick stepped on. How he lasted as long as he did, I have no idea.
No.
Ooh, now go back to the website real quick,
Okay.
like beyourownarcade.com, and look at the image for Roaring Racer, all the way over on the left.
Yeah, I see it. GameStop.
Yep, that is a trademark violation if GameStop didn't give them permission to do that.
And according to the GameStop NFT website, they didn't.
Guess what? GameStop can't hurt them now, and GameStop has lawyers. GameStop has to pay money for lawyers.
Yeah, but how much longer will that last? Remains the question.
Well, I don't know. It depends on whether or not they try and Wall Street Bets finds out that they're going to try and short sell GameStop again. Because if, as I will bet you almost anything that GameStop, that if Wall Street Bets finds them being shorted again, there's going to be more hubbub.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be some serious dickery happening right after that. Actually, how much do they want for Roaring Racer? I'm kind of curious.
Okay.
They don't act. Oh wow, he's not actually selling. He can't actually sell these.
Oh no, he can't.
Huh?
Oh no, he can't. Look up the Loop Ring blockchain if you can.
What?
Look up the Loop Ring blockchain if you can.
Oh, did Loop Ring ban him too?
I don't know.
I don't have the Loop Ring link, so grab that real quick.
Okay.
The actual wallet is around here somewhere.
I don't remember which game had the NFT. Here we go.
You found You found it?
I found a wallet.
Is it that one?
That is correct, sir.
Outstanding, because that's the real wallet, not the dummy wallet that he posted elsewhere, the public wallet, I should say.
Let's take a look, shall we? NFTs.
He minted 10,000 copies, sold, and has sold about 6,500 of them. Which should have been in your spreadsheet, Mr. Man.
Yeah, that should have been on my spreadsheet. He sold about 30 of Rogue.
Okay. For the record, you can actually play them on his nifty arcade site.
Yes, you can.
Sorry, folks, I have to call that one back in a minute. All right. So, have we managed to abused the chat long enough?
I think we have, sir.
Are they squealing for relief?
No.
No?
I think they want more.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have a lot more. I mean,
right. I mean, unfortunately, fortunately, depending on who you ask, we do have a little pet project going on before this live stream even started.
We'll tell them about that later.
Yes, we will. And as soon as I actually finish the lyrics to this thing,
Sanji,
yes,
we're not done yet. Don't tell them anything. Let it be a surprise for for an upcoming live stream.
okay. And with that said, I have been Sanji Himura. Thank you, Squirrel, for joining us today.
Yeah. I am Lord of the Croc Scrolls. Go visit my channel occasionally. That'd be great.
And actually, we do have. You know what? I'll save it for Wednesday. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
So with that said, I've been Sanji Imura. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next W2 report.